Got it.
Okay.
I mean, it may be a great idea, I don't know.
She threw it at you. I see it.
Oh, you be careful.
I'm trying.
I think that could do some serious damage to you.
That'll work.
Want some time on?
Get there.
Yes, if you're good.
Yeah, I think.
No, it's a black.
You might want to come this way.
Yeah.
Of course, the powers that be will only care about what that machine cost, not whether you got hurt.
No worry about that.
That is totally the nature of things. All right, if I'm not mistaken, we're ready to resume. Would that be true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Issues at all? No.
Not a mistake.
Let's bring the jury.
Let's all rise for the jury, please. Watch those swinging chairs.
Straighten that one up.
She got a pad, she got a pad. Be seated, please. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed your lunch and your little break. We're ready to resume the trial of the case. Call your next witness.
They would call Greg Sanders. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Would you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury by telling them your name and then spelling it so the court reporter gets it right?
Greg Sanders, G-R-E-G-S-A-N-D-E-R-S,
And Mr. Sanders, where do you live?
Dallas, Georgia,
Okay. Where do you work right now?
Home Depot.
Okay. What's your job at Home Depot?
I am the Global Security Operations Center Manager.
And what does that mean?
We were the emergency center for Home Depot.
Okay. And is that just in Atlanta, or is that how wide is, I guess, your span?
The entire world.
So basically, you have kind of a NORAD set up there in the basement of Home Depot headquarters?
We like to think so, yes.
Okay. So tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury a little bit about what are your daily duties and things like that.
Sure. We monitor every Home Depot store as far as emergency situations, from natural man-made disasters to fires, arsons, robberies, burglaries, bomb threats. Also, executive residence, monitoring, security surveillance for all locations as well. And we also help in fraud as well.
Sometimes as a part of your job, are you called on to try to locate certain videos from certain stores regarding camera angles, things like that, and then pull them to give to law enforcement?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen a little bit about, I guess, your background and how you came to the position you're in right now.
Sure. 26 years in the security business, 13 being at Home Depot. Background, executive protection, investigation, surveillance systems, access systems, OSHA regulations, fraud investigations.
At Home Depot, where you work and the unit you work with, do you have a specific type of security camera or program process that you use to record video and then maintain it from the security cameras?
Yes, we do.
Okay, tell the jury a little bit about those programs and what type of stuff that you guys use.
Sure. So the access system we use is called a Honeywell Profile system. Basically, it's the notification system that we have for burglary alarms as well as access, proximity cards. A person comes up, scan their badge at a non-profit facility, not in the store, but at a non-profit facility, being the corporate headquarters or a regional office or something. We also use the Nextiva system for video system as well.
Now, back in June of 2014, were you asked to, as a part of your unit, supervise and actually go in and pull video from certain places in your area, the Home Depot headquarters area?
Yes.
Okay, and what is that area? Describe to the jury. They've generally heard about it, but what area of Atlanta is that?
It's basically northwest of Atlanta. We call it the Atlanta SSC. We generally don't call it the Home Depot headquarters, just because we don't distinguish of being uppity for location. But we have several sites around that. We have what we call non-profit facilities that report into my center for the access system, and burglary system, and surveillance system as well.
Are you familiar with the Treehouse location of Home Depot?
I am.
Okay, and where is that?
Layman's terms is basically across the street. It's less than a 5-minute drive on Copeland Parkway, I believe.
And does your unit and do you have the ability to pull security videos and badge access into that building about people coming and going from the building?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with Little Apron Academy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and what is that?
That is the Child Development Center for Home Depot. It's actually at the Atlanta SSC building. We call it the Alpha building.
Okay. And so it's right there by y'all.
It's actually connected to the location I work at, the Atlanta SSC.
Now, with that, do they have separate badge access entry points than just the general SSC building?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And do you have the capability of pulling security footage and badge access to Little Apron Academy as well?
Absolutely. It reports to my center.
And also, how about stores, like Home Depot stores?
As far as?
Are you able to pull video from in stores, like around the world?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And is there actually a Home Depot store near you guys?
Yes, across the street. I believe it's the 121 store.
Okay. Is that near the Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, Publix, and all that stuff?
Across the street from the Chick-fil-A and the Publix.
Are you familiar for what this investigation involves as far as the investigation of the death of a child or a child being left in a parking lot at Home Depot Treehouse location?
Unfortunately, yes.
Were you asked to pull videos, I guess, over the course of some time? Would you pull several videos regarding these different locations, Treehouse, Little Apron Academy, and things of that nature?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Now, immediately, were you able to go in and find exactly what time you needed to pull from?
No, we have to, there's a certain setup that we have to do to find a person because of the amount of personnel that work at our locations.
And how would you go back, in this case, how did you go back and track down to find the times and videos initially that law enforcement was looking for?
Sure. So we were given the name of Mr. Justin Ross Harris. From that, we went into our access system and found there's a couple of ways that we'll look for it. Seeing it was so large, we always look for the name first. His name being a very unique name. He was the only Justin Ross Harris that we had. So we correlated that with our badge system, are very unique. It's basically like your driver's license for the system. So no one has the identical badge number. So from there, we were able to go back, pull a report on Mr. Harris, and ascertain when he entered and exited our buildings.
Now, with all the videos and the times you're pulling, when you went back and looked at the badge access, then you went to the videos, do you check to see if the badge access entry points and the videos are jiving?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Did you do that in this case?
Absolutely.
Okay. And when you do that, do you also check generally to see if it's your inner Home Depot workings have the same time, like the time that's going on right now in the world, that it's not way off or anything?
Yes.
Okay. And in this case, did you verify that the time was right?
Yes, we do.
going to first turn your attention to some things about the system. Now, is this system, these different cameras, are you guys actually sitting there in your office like manning the cameras, or are these unmanned cameras?
They are unmanned cameras.
Okay, could you tell the jury a little bit about how they work?
Sure. Basically, it's a static camera, and the camera we have what's called static cameras and PTZ cameras, pan tilt zoom cameras. Particular cameras for, I guess, referring to the treehouse.
Yes, we'll start with the treehouse.
Sure. Our static cameras are unmanned fixed cameras that are interior and exterior cameras.
Okay. And on the treehouse, where are they set up? The cameras, let me ask you this. Back in June 18, 2014, where were the cameras set up on the exterior?
They were on the light poles. Okay. And we have also got some on the building as well, attached to the building.
And how many different views, if you remember, did you have?
I wish I could. Several.
Now, did you pull all the angles when you're talking about looking for this particular person and his comings and goings? Did you look from all different angles to see if you could see and find any evidence of the travels of that person?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Now, interior, you said you have cameras as well. And generally, where do the cameras, where do they usually point to as far as interior in the building?
Sure. Stairwells and exteriors of the building, entry points, emergency exits, and such like that.
Little Apron Academy, is it kind of the same setup there as far as exterior and interior, or is it somewhat different?
A little bit different. Still the exterior cameras, interior cameras facing the doors, and the entry points, and then we've got them as well in the classrooms facing the doors, not on the children itself, but on the doors.
Okay. All right. I'm going to show you, a couple of other questions. Have you been trained in using this system that Home Depot uses to monitor and retain video surveillance?
Yes.
Okay. And do you actually supervise and train people who do the same thing?
I absolutely do.
Okay. How often a day do you actually have to, or how often do you actually have to go in and find surveillance video from some of these stores and then download it to provide to law enforcement?
It varies. It's pretty frequent, though.
In this case, did the cameras and things, as far as all the videos that you use coming from your system, did your system appear to be functioning properly when you downloaded all these videos?
Yes.
Let me ask you one other question about some of these videos and what you provided to law enforcement. Is this very, I guess, large in capacity videos that you're providing? Does it use up a lot of space on like a computer disk or something like that?
It's considerable, yes.
Okay. And sometimes do you have problems with it shutting down after you play a certain amount of videos and it'll shut down, you just have to start it back again?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. We've talked about it. This system actually records the date and the timestamp, correct?
That is correct.
And
yes.
records it accurately as far as you can tell, correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to, first of all, show you what I'm marking for identification purposes as States Exhibits 372, 370. Actually, we're going to start with, 372. Then I'm going to show you as well. Go ahead and have a look at that. 372 is number, is disc 5. Then I'm going to show you what's been marked as 317, the number 1 on it.
That's correct.
Okay. With 312, which has the number 3 on it.
Correct.
And number 2, which is States Exhibit 330.
Correct.
Do you recognize all of these?
I do.
First of all, States Exhibit 372, is that the actual copy of the flash drive from Home Depot that you provided Detective Stoddard in this case that contained videos from both Treehouse on the month of June leading up to June 18th, on June 18th, and then also video of Little Apron Academy regarding the defendant's entry into and out of Little Apron and Leanna Harris's entry and exit out of it.
That's correct.
Okay. And looking at States Exhibits 312, 317, and 330, these have been numbered. You see additional numbers on these flash drives in the ones you already reviewed.
I do.
Okay, do you see initials on those flash drives?
Those are my initials.
Okay. Now, these videos, the flash drives in 330, 317, and 312, were these all pulled off of a copy of Disk 5, which is States Exhibit 322, and then put on the flash drive?
Yes.
Okay, and did they do this to kind of break up the videos and hope that they would play easier if they're broken up into smaller portions?
That's correct.
Okay, and all of these came from Disk 5?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would tender States Exhibits 372, or States Exhibit 372 at this time.
May I want you to read this very briefly?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Are you also named Charles?
I am Charles Gregory Sanders.
Okay, excellent. Just wanted to be clear. The Disk 5, that flash drives were created from that. You didn't create those flash drives?
No.
Okay. The copy that is labeled Disk 5, did you create that disk?
I believe we did, yes. It was either myself or my team that created it.
Okay. And who is your team?
The Global Security Operations Center.
And who would that be? If you didn't create the disk, who created that disk?
One of my team members. There's several of us. They report to me.
Well, you were asked whether you provided those disks to Detective Stoddard. Do you know who provided those disks to Detective Stoddard?
The blue disc, the blue flash drives,
Yes, sir.
they were brought in, and I signed off on them. I verified all of them.
Who brought them in?
The detective, Frank Lupo.
Okay. Investigator with the District Attorney's Office.
Correct.
Okay, when was that?
I've got the paper that's on it signed off. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You signed off on
Yes, I did, yes.
The team members that would have created that disk, if it wasn't you personally, those folks were all located at the Home Depot headquarters in Atlanta?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And those were all provided in September of 2014?
Yes, it was provided up to my senior manager, Jeff Martin, and Detective Phil Stoddard.
Okay. Jeff Barton is your senior manager?
He is, yes.
Would he have been making the direct contact between Home Depot and law enforcement?
Correct.
Okay. So you never had any direct interaction with law enforcement in September 2014?
I met Mr. Stoddard, but everything that was handed over was subpoenaed to Jeff and then was handed over from that point.
Okay. And so when you met with Detective Stoddard, was that when you provided those disks to him?
It would have been at the same time with Mr. Barton.
Okay.
Just for clarification, when you say disk, do you mean the actual disk or the flash drive?
Well, the disks, the flash drives,
Okay.
you didn't create?
No.
Okay, understood. All right, thank you. I have no.
Defendant?
And just for clarification's sake, these flash drives all contain the same thing as the disks, correct?
That is correct.
It's just smaller information pulled from the disks.
Yes.
Okay, and these flash drives actually, you've reviewed the flash drives and the disks to make sure that they were functioning properly. They're the same things that were pulled that you supervised being pulled from Home Depot, correct?
That's correct. That was what I was referring to a few minutes ago.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start with looking at what is identified as State's Exhibit 317, labeled flash drive 1, okay? Now, during the process, in addition to having, when you got these flash drives, did you actually sit down with the investigator from the DA's office and physically were there while the movies were moved from the disc to the flash drives?
No, they were moved over and I verified the,
Yes.
I verified the flash drives.
Okay, so they moved over there and you looked at it, you're like, that's the same thing.
Correct.
Okay, now, on these flash drives, it also had video of the parking lot on June 18th, 2014.
Yes.
Now, on those days, had you personally gone and verified and pulled the video relevant to the defendant coming and going from the parking lot that day?
Yes, myself and my team did as well.
Okay. And you viewed those videos a few times, correct?
More than I'd like to.
Okay. Your Honor, permission to publish State's Exhibit Number 1, and because these videos are kind of grainy, I'm going to push the Mondo pad up pretty close to this. Really, I just wanted to say Mondo pad one more time. All right, thank you. Mr. Sanders, I don't know if you can see that from where you're seated. Can you see it, or would it help you to step down over here for a minute? Okay, thank you. All right, we're looking at, on this, it says 6/18/2014. We click on that folder. Does it give you several different options about what you can view from that day?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And on this, I'm going to move this out a little bit. Okay. Does this actually reflect video from the parking lot that day that you had reviewed and trying to identify where the person was coming and going in the car? Maybe you can explain also, this is parking lot middle, parking lot right. What would that be?
The exterior parking lot. So working from the top, that's the full day of Mr. Harris.
Okay, when
And
you
then
say full day,
full
is that
day.
basically the parking lot, those cameras in the parking lot for the entirety of the day?
Correct.
Okay. And from that, did you find the person or the vehicle in question and basically clip a video of that as well?
Yes, we did.
But if we wanted to go back and watch the full day, we can go to those, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Additionally, are there also videos of the defendant badging in and out that day?
Correct.
Okay. And were those basically how you verified with his entry sheet and with the video of him badging in, what times you should backtrack to try to look out for the parking lot?
Yes, it is.
Okay. This time I'm going to publish the badge in for the day video. Okay. Badging in there. What time is that on the automated camera, time and date?
09/27/44 a.m.
Okay. And is that on 6/18/2014?
That is correct, yes.
So after pulling that, did you backtrack and look for video in the parking lot from before that?
Yes.
Now, out in the parking lot, how many different angles are there looking from the building and video, the camera surveilling that front parking lot at Home Depot from the treehouse?
5 or 6.
And do you remember what were the main cameras that actually picked up the suspect's vehicle in this case?
On this one, it would be the middle parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
middle video, and the right
Okay.
on this one.
I'm going to publish the video, parking lot video middle. Okay. Looking here at 9/25/17, is there anything in particular to this video that you pulled where we see the suspect's car coming into the video?
It should be the top left.
Is that it right there?
I believe. So if you can hit play, I could see it a little
Yes.
clearer.
That time is 9:25:17, correct?
Yes,
Is that it?
that is.
Okay. Just going to continue and let it play. Okay. Now the car's come to a complete stop on this video. What is the time? 9:25:39?
9:25:39 a.m.
All right, now I'm going to go ahead and start the video back again. Okay, I've paused it again. Do we see at this point it's 9:25:56? Do you see the door start to open?
I do.
Okay, and is that about 17 seconds after the car is fully stopped and parked?
It appears to be yes.
Okay. Now, having reviewed the video, does the defendant immediately get out of the car at this point?
No.
Let's start playing it again. Okay, and right there, do we see the person stepping out of the vehicle at that point?
It appears to be yes.
Okay, is that 9:26:12?
9:26:12 a.m.
And that is, that about 33 seconds from the time the car came to a stop.
Yes.
Okay, now the door is shut. Just what is the time stamp there?
9:26:15 a.m.
Okay. All right. Now, just to show you a couple of the videos, we've got the other longer videos we're going to show later through other witnesses and things like that. But let me ask you this. Other than looking at these videos, were the other videos pulled and provided to law enforcement for them to actually review in full, knowing the facts of the case and things of that nature?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to just stick with this day. Parking lot right video. Is this showing the rest of the defendant then walking into work?
It's a continuation from the middle to the right, going into the treehouse.
Looking at re-entering from lunch. Jay Harris, 2600 re-entering from lunch. Is that around 12:44 that he comes back in the building?
Correct.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Were you able to locate and pull when the defendant actually leaves the property, or video of him pulling out of the the parking lot at Home Depot?
Yes.
Okay. And is this the video depicting seeing the figure on the right here? Would that be the person you were looking for?
Yes. it would.
Playing again. Pause it right there when the car door shuts on the car before he leaves the parking lot. What's the time on that?
4/16/03 p.m.
I'm about to play again. Okay, the car started moving again. What time is that?
4/16/06 p.m.
That's 3 seconds from the door shut.
Yes.
Okay, finally, just based on these videos that you had reviewed, I'm going to show you what's marked at, or what's listed as returning to vehicle at lunch. Okay. Let me ask you this. While reviewing this video that you guys at Home Depot were looking at, did you come upon something that you were not necessarily specifically looking for?
Yes.
What did you come across?
Returning to, going to lunch and returning to his vehicle.
And did you find that by looking back at when he had left and come in from lunch?
We ascertained that information by, again, going back to the access badges in and out and tracking from there.
Play. Does it appear he's immediately getting out of the car, or is he still sitting in there as far as your review of this video?
It appears that he's sitting in the vehicle.
Okay. Now, looking at this, is that figure that got out of the car going toward the car door?
Yes.
Judge, I'm going to ask counsel to not lead as much. I know that he needed to develop some of the testimony, but I would ask for non-leading questions.
Okay, I'll try not to lead as far as I go from now on then. Okay, looking at this, is there anything between he and that car door at this point, or is it just him and the car door?
It is just him in the corridor.
Okay. At 12:42:12 p.m., what do we see here?
The corridor appears to be opening.
Is that him right there? The figure.
Figure, yes.
Now at 12:42:12, is that him? He's already shut the door and he's walking away.
That is correct.
Do we see anybody walking in his direction as he's walking away from the car?
There's an unknown person walking the opposite towards his vehicle. I should say the direction of his vehicle.
Now do we see him with his phone out? What appears to be?
It appears to be his phone out.
All right, Mr. Sanders, you can have your seat. We talked about a little bit, you viewed some of these videos, but not all of them. You actually provided them all to law enforcement for them to do the further review and things like that to analyze the facts of the case, correct?
Yes, providing to my senior manager.
Well, yes, I'm sorry. It got to law enforcement through the Home Depot channels, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let me go ahead and move this back a little bit. All right, I'm going to show you what has been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibits 370, 369, 370, 371 and 373. And ask if you recognize those as you're looking at them. And if those are, again, discs of the Home Depot videos that you had provided and that were then put on flash drives.
So I just wanted to make sure we're marking on.
Right.
This appear to be
These, the copies of the videos that you provided to, or you supervised pulling or provided to law enforcement to the detectives in this case.
correct.
And are these CDs for which we made these flash drives as well?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would tender states 370, 371, 373, and 369. Yeah.
And Mr. Sanders, just very quickly, those discs made it to the detectives through Home Depot channels, either through yourself personally or somebody from the security team.
That is correct. It would have been facilitated through Jeff Barton, my senior manager. He was the one that was given, I guess, the subpoenas for the videos. Yes, we pulled the videos. Jeff gave them to the police.
And I don't know Mr. Parton, but if Mr. Parton was the facilitator of evidence that came from Home Depot to Cobb Police, you're vouching for it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
When we say facilitating, just to make sure we're clear, does he take what you give him and hand it over?
Yes.
Okay. So you got any evidence he went and doctored anything or did anything crazy?
Jeff wouldn't know how to do that.
Okay. Is he a computer guy? I met Jeff. He didn't really strike me as a computer guy.
He is not.
We're putting him on blast right now.
Sorry, boss.
Okay. All right. So now that we got these in evidence.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
I wasn't trying to put him on blast.
No, I put him on blast.
No objection.
Now you can proceed in the hearing of evidence.
Thank you, Judge. Now that these are in evidence, I'm going to make sure, just so we're clear for the record, what are on these flash drives and where they're pulled from, okay? So, looking at, let's see, we've already got 317, 312 in evidence. Looking at flash drive 4, which is, as it's labeled there, State's Exhibit 374. Looking at the list that you initially off on to verify, is this flash drive 4?
That is flash drive number 4.
Okay, and what disk was that created from?
That was created from disc number 5.
And what is the description of what's contained on this flash drive?
That would be Miss Lena Harris in the Little Apron Academy.
And have you reviewed that, and it's the same records as pulled from the disk?
Yes.
Your Honor, I tender State's Exhibit 374.
Admitted.
Okay, looking at State's Exhibit 375, which is labeled as flash drive 5. Do you see this flash drive with the number 5 on it?
I do, yes.
Whose initials are those?
Those would be mine.
Okay, and is this the video you pulled from what would be disk 19 that was provided to law enforcement? Is this what was pulled over and you verified was correct from that disk?
Disc 19, yes.
And what is the description of the videos or the items pulled and put on this flash drive?
Jessica Ross Harris, 6/18/2014.
Okay, so things from the day of June 18, 2014.
Correct.
Your Honor, I would tender State's Exhibit 375 at this time.
Records. Admitted.
Now showing you State's Exhibit 376, which is flash drive 6. Do you see a number 6 on that flash drive?
I do.
Okay. And what was this video taken from? What's the description of the video?
It says treehouse video, disk 23.
From disk 23, okay. And that would be States Exhibit 370 for the record. Again, video pulled from the disk, verified it's accurate.
And it has my initials on it.
Great. And right over to your States Exhibit 376 at this time.
Admitted.
2 more to go. Showing you States Exhibit 377 now. What labeled flash drive 7? Looking at this flash drive, does it have the number 7 on it?
It does.
Does it have your initials on it?
It does.
Okay. And what disk was that pulled for?
Disk number 24, and it was the THD Little Apron Academy toddler room.
And that's, for the records, the disk 24 States Exhibit 369. And again, the video, you verified that's the same video on this flash drive that was pulled from that disk.
Correct.
Your Honor, Tender States Exhibit 377.
Admitted.
And finally, States Exhibit 378, labeled as flash drive 8. Do you recognize that? And does it have your initials and the number 8 on this flash drive?
It has number 8 and my initials.
Okay. And what disk is that pulled from?
From disk number 81.
And for the record, that is States Exhibit 373. And what is labeled as being contained on disk number 8?
Treehouse Lobby, L. Harris, Dan Harris.
And again, the videos that you put on the flash drive, same videos that were on the disk, that's referenced there.
That is correct, yes.
Your Honor, I tender States Exhibit 378.
Admitted.
All right, and just so we've got it in the record, the flash drive number 1, which has already been admitted, what's contained on there described as 2600 Treehouse from June 18, 2014.
That's correct.
Okay, and that's pulled from disk 5.
Correct.
And then flash drive number 2 is 2600 Treehouse from June 2nd, 2014 through June 17, 2014, correct?
That's correct.
And that's pulled from disk 5.
Disk 5.
And flash drive number 3, which had already been admitted, is entitled Justin Ross Harris LAA Little Apron Academy. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that was also pulled from disk 5, which has been admitted.
Disk 5, yes.
Thank you. Okay, I think we discussed it previously, but other than reviewing those parking lot videos, did you personally go in and try to investigate the contents of any of these other videos, or was that left to investigators and detectives to look into?
That was left for the investigators.
Thank you. That's all I have, Jeff.
Judge, I think I have a moment. Is 372 still in?
What's that?
Is 372 still in?
I think it's over there. I think it's... We talking about disk or are we talking about flash drive? Okay. Yes, that's got
This guy.
everything.
This guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Sanders, I'm sorry. I believe I understood you a couple of times to say that, unfortunately, you were familiar with this case and the videos involved in this case. Was that because of your involvement in obtaining records on behalf of Home Depot to provide to the police?
That's correct.
You weren't exposed or made aware of any other information regarding this case or investigation?
No.
In other words, you're not personally invested with any of the parties involved or anything like that?
No.
If it weren't for your role with Home Depot, you wouldn't have anything to do with this?
I would probably know more about the case from being a civilian.
Okay. You mean by watching the news?
Sure.
And you didn't do that because you were involved in the case?
No.
Well, so I understand your testimony. You said that if you had been just a regular civilian, you probably know more about it. So what is it about your role with Home Depot and corporate security and being a witness in this case that you know less about it?
Well, I don't know. I pulled video and I pulled access reports for the board.
Did you work in close conjunction with Mr. Parton as far as responding to requests from detectives with the Cobb County Police Department?
Yes.
Search warrants, did you receive or review search warrants when you were trying to locate items of evidence that were in Home Depot's possession?
No, I did not.
Who did that?
I assume it would be Jeff.
Okay. All right. Did he make you aware of some of the things that Cobb County Police were looking for?
I don't believe so. It's been 2 years over now.
Fair enough. You testified on direct that you were given Ross Harris's name, and that was essentially your starting point in finding a badge number and then getting as much information about that badge number as you could.
Yes, that would be correct.
Okay. Who gave you Mr. Harris's name?
I honestly, I can't remember, but it would probably have been Jeff.
You mentioned one instance in which you had contact with Detective Stoddard. Did you have any other contact with any other detectives with the Cobb County Police Department?
Met a detective, Lupo, Frank Lupo.
Okay, all right. And Mr. Lupo actually isn't a detective with Cobb PD. He's with the district attorney's office.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the answer would probably be no then.
Okay. Just Mr. Stoddard.
Correct.
And how long do you retain video surveillance footage of parking lots or access points around Home Depot?
Are you referring to the stores? Are you referring to nonprofit facilities or the headquarters or where? Because it varies. It varies for, yes.
Well, Mr. Sanders, would you mind breaking it down for us?
Sure, no problem. Generally a nonprofit facility, which the Treehouse and the Atlanta SSC, just for clarification for a nonprofit facility, would be around 90 days. Yes. And in the store, I don't have that information because we are not the record holders of the stores. We go in, we can access the stores to get video, so I can't answer the question for that, but that's why I can't say for sure if it's 90 or if it's less or more.
But as far as entry points at like Little Aprons, you can go 90 days back.
Are we referring to video or access?
Well, both.
Access, I can pull access pretty much, and I can go back now if from going to a historical look at it. I can pull it back for access now. If I actually loaded it into it, video is going to be erased over.
So if there was an investigation, a thorough investigation, and someone wanted to know access points from the day Cooper Harris started at Little Aprons, you'd be able to provide that information.
Hypothetically, yes.
Okay. Just for badging. Just badging reports.
For access reports, badge-in reports, badge-in, badge-out reports, yes.
Video surveillance, you can only go 90 days back.
Unless it's saved, unless it's pulled down and saved.
Okay. And would there be any reason to pull down and save video surveillance footage? For anybody, I mean, for...
If there was an investigation, yes. If no, then no.
Okay. So once an investigation starts, you're asked to pull video. You can only go 30 days back from that unless you had pulled the video prior and saved it.
Actually, we're 90 days.
I'm sorry, 90
what I
days.
said.
90 days. You testified that you checked that access points jived with Home Depot surveillance. I want to follow up on that. You mean that the timestamp on the Home Depot surveillance video is in sync with the access badge reports?
Yes.
Okay. Are they operating off of the same information that provides the time?
You're referring to a server?
Sure.
I believe so, yes.
Words like server tend to go over my head, so the source of information is the same for both access points and Home Depot surveillance footage, sourced by being the source of time.
The source of time, they should be on the same server, different systems, but on the same server, so the time should be very close to each other, yes.
Okay. Now let's back up a little bit. Where does the server get the time?
From the computer.
Okay. Where does the computer get the time?
I'm not following your question.
Okay. Where does the time information come from?
That would probably be from our IT security personnel that's over. I'm not actually over the systems, is to maintain them for upgrades or service. How I can tell you how we actually got the times to make sure that they were the correct times, though, if you'd like.
Okay, and I'll get into that in a second. I want to ask you some questions so that the jury can generally understand how it is that you are prepared to check that access badge reports and Home Depot surveillance time jive, as you said. Okay? An IT, you said it wasn't an IT security specialist, is that what you said?
We have a IT security person on our team that maintains our servers.
Okay. And that person doesn't just select what time everything goes off of, right? They don't just like type in the time to manually select the time that all systems will operate off of?
I'm not him, so I can't tell you that. I don't know how he does the time.
Do you know if it is automatically based off of something?
Again, I am not him, so I do not know how he sets the time up.
So it's fair to say that you were able to determine that the access points, the badge report, those times coincide with the surveillance footage, but you don't know if those times are actually correct, if they're actually accurate.
I do not set the times for them. I can again tell you how we ascertained that the times were correct, though.
And just so that the record is clear, that would be yes. I mean, you don't know if that time is actually correct.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Boring had asked you that you checked to see if times were right and not way off, that they were right with the world. How did you do that? How did you make sure that the times were right with the world?
Okay. So to pull from there, what we did was we pulled the access. If we're going to talk about the initial time, is that what we're talking about Mr. Harris? From when we found his started the tracking on him to the 18th. Is that what we're referring to, or overall?
Your response to that question was in comparing the times in this case. So yes.
So we looked at the current. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So we looked at the current time. Then we took the current time that was on the access system and the current time that was on the video system. Looked at those, look at real time to see if they're coinciding together, and then we can go back from there. And the times were, my recollection, were the same times. Maybe a few seconds off, but very similar.
That the access badge times might be a few seconds off of the HD surveillance.
Probably not very much, but there could be. Again, this is from 2014, but it would be very, very close. Yes.
Less than a minute off.
Yes.
Who asked you to check the times to verify their accuracy?
No one asked me to check the times for accuracy. I do that when we start an investigation.
Okay, so that's just a habit or a practice for you?
Not just for me, for my entire team.
Okay. Anytime that there's an investigation and you have a request, you're going to make sure that the information you provide is accurate.
Yes.
Okay. And that's why you check those times.
Yes, because if you can't check the times, you can't find what you're looking for.
Okay. You testified about multiple cameras in the treehouse parking lot. Was it 5 or 6?
That's what I said. Again, I'm not exactly sure of the total exterior camera setup for that.
Do you know how many you provided law enforcement in this case?
How many cameras or how many discs or what?
No, like camera angles, footage from different camera angles.
We could pull the video and I can tell you then. I can't tell you off my cuff on exactly what camera angles or it was.
What we were just looking at, you'd agree that that was the middle camera, right?
Well, we looked at 2 cameras from the exterior. We looked at the middle and the right camera. For the exterior, and we also looked at the interior camera for there.
Okay. We did look at the middle. We looked at the right. Were there any other cameras that you're aware of for that treehouse parking lot that we would be able to look at?
I believe there's another one. We did not look at that particular camera, but yeah, I believe there are another camera out in the lot as well.
One that's on the left side of the building that's focused on the same area of the parking lot, perhaps?
If I could see the video, I could tell you then. I can't go off of memory from 2014.
Sure. Okay. Mr. Sanders, before I play the footage, we're just looking at just a second, Judge, please. want to start listening to Mr. Lumpkin's music.
No, absolutely not.
I want to avoid that.
Unless we get to watch him, see him dance to it.
Objection. I would join in that objection.
Sustained. It's not complimentary.
Do you mind if I come down?
Absolutely, please do. Mr. Lumpkin, you mind stopping it? Or pausing it, rather? Okay, so before we play any more of the video, you'd agree this is, and it's labeled here at the bottom, 2600, that's the address?
It is what we denote as the location site number
Okay.
for us.
Okay. And is 2600 the same site number for all of the cameras in the treehouse parking lot?
For the treehouse, correct. That would be the site number 2600, yes.
So that would indicate to you this is at the treehouse, right? 2600.
Yes.
Okay. Parking lot left. So without playing the video, you recognize this as the left angle of the parking lot at the treehouse?
That appears to be.
Can we hit play, please? Can I inquire if all the jurors can see?
Yeah, that's
Can everyone see? Can you stop? All right. And this is the same vehicle that you identified coming into view when we were looking at the middle lot angle, correct?
Appears to be, yes.
Please stop, please. Actually, give it a couple more seconds. Okay. Mr. Sanders, did you notice how the vehicle did not actually pull all the way into this space between two cars?
You want to play it again? 'Cause
Sure.
I wasn't looking for
That-
that. You didn't give me a question to look for, so.
You had no reason to look for it, I
Right.
didn't tell you to. Okay. Now, if you would, Mr. Sanders, just pay attention to kind of that three-point turn and how far back that vehicle goes into the space.
Okay.
I think we encountered one of the glitches where you said that if it stops, we have to start all over.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Will you work on that, please, after this case?
If you can give me a raise, I sure will.
I'm probably not going to be able to help you.
Then I'm not.
Did you notice that? Did you pay attention to the three-point turn?
Yeah, it appears the vehicle pulls up and stops, and where you lose line of sight is the, right where the rear quarter panel ends to where the glass is at.
And you agree that the vehicle doesn't pull all the way in between these two vehicles, right?
And the vehicle backs up, it pulls up to the rear quarter panel almost where the glass is at and stops, and then full sport.
Right. And there's some distance between this vehicle here and the back of this vehicle that we're paying attention to, correct?
I was looking at this vehicle right here where he's making the turn at. So I'm guessing so he didn't hit the vehicle, so I guess there is some distance between it.
Mr. Sanders, we're going to skip forward just a few minutes.
Okay, what am I looking for this time?
Okay. I want you to look for anything going on or around this vehicle here. Just kind of keep your focus on that vehicle, please. I know that you're focused in this area. You noticed a white small SUV that parked behind this vehicle.
I did, yes.
You see an individual that's walking out of that same vehicle, right?
And I also see a person walking in front of the
That's
vehicle.
right, two vehicles. All right, will you stop it? There. All right, did you notice a person walk directly to the driver's side of this vehicle?
It appears to be a person, yes.
Okay, and the time is 9:31:04, correct?
3104.
On June 18th, 2014.
Correct.
And based on your testimony, that would be that's less than 5 minutes from when the driver of this vehicle got out.
Yes,
Your testimony was that
give me the time again.
Sure. My notes are that you observed the driver getting out of that vehicle at 9 o'clock, 26 minutes, 12 seconds. Driver gets out. All right. And at 9:31:04, an individual walks right by the driver's side of this vehicle. There doesn't appear to be any hesitation with that individual, no stopping by this vehicle at all.
No.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm asking you to pay attention to this vehicle again and the surrounding area. And it's 12:01:33 is the
Correct.
time?
12:01:33 p.m.
Okay. And did you notice somebody that's walking up towards that area now?
Currently, yes, there's a person walking up.
And it looks like they're getting in to the vehicle parked directly to the right, and they were directly next to the driver's side, correct? Can you stop it?
That's correct.
All right. There didn't appear to be any hesitation whatsoever, no stopping, looking into the car, noticing the car at all,
From that angle, it looks like they walked to the car.
right into the car, right into their car.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's at 12:02, about 20 seconds.
You can pull it back and look exactly if you want. I was watching.
I'm worried that the video might trip and we have to start back all over. I know the jury doesn't want that.
Okay.
That vehicle took off, drove away.
You drove away.
Okay. It's about 12:40 in the afternoon, June 18th.
Now it is.
Okay. I want you to pay attention. Same vehicle, same area, please. You notice somebody walking behind that row of cars behind this vehicle?
I noticed someone walking toward your vehicle.
Didn't appear to be any hesitation or going towards this vehicle. They walked straight into their car, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now we see a sedan, four-door sedan stop.
Is it playing right now or is it stopped?
12:41:45.
Okay.
Okay. Roll play, please. And this is the scene that you had testified about from the middle lot camera perspective on direct, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You'll stop it. Did you notice that the individual that opens the driver's side door, okay, they don't get in the door, correct?
No.
They don't sit down in the car.
They don't get into the car.
Yeah, they're not in there, right?
They're not in the car.
Okay. Just to be clear.
Okay.
And you can see the figure, the individual's head, right?
I can see a blurred image of what appears to be a person, yes.
Okay. And the blurred image that appears to be the top of that person never goes below the roof line, correct? Want to play it back?
Yeah.
Let's be right. attention if you could see inside the vehicle.
No.
Okay. Well, did you see kind of a blur go across the windshield there?
Looks like an arm goes in.
Like an arm goes in,
Yeah,
right?
leans down a little bit, an arm goes in. And the body, and the reason I say that, the head's out.
The head is out above the roof line, correct?
You know, it's scooping down. I mean, again, it's if the angle perspective that you're looking at doesn't appear to be going in the vehicle. It's definitely a movement down. It looks like you can see an arm go in.
An arm, one arm?
I don't know. It appears to be one arm.
It appears to be one arm. You look at a lot of video surveillance, correct?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. Do you have dreams about video surveillance sometimes? Maybe
No.
nightmares?
No.
No? Okay, you don't, but you look at a lot.
Again, yes.
Okay. You're used to identifying individuals or actions or things in a surveillance video, and the quality isn't necessarily 100% clear.
That's a fair assumption.
That's fair? Okay. But you would agree that, to you, it appears that one arm goes in, right?
Again, it appears that the door opens up, an arm goes in, the body's leaning down.
Okay. But the head maintains above the roof line the whole time.
It appears it doesn't go inside the vehicle.
You'd agree he's not, or this individual is not all the way in there.
Again, he did not get into the vehicle.
Judge, at this point, unless we're going to something that he's actually reviewed and viewed and can testify about, I'm going to object to this time, ask that this wait to another witness who has actually reviewed the specifics of it.
What do you think?
If he's asking him to comment on things and things of that nature, I think would be more appropriate and legally accurate to put it in through another witness.
Judge, I disagree. The piece of evidence is it's in evidence, and in fact, I think it was turned over by this gentleman, by this witness. I think I can ask him all the questions I'd like. I mean, to a certain point, obviously, if the court stops me, I will stop, but I should be entitled to ask him questions about this video.
Judge, I don't think he's laid a foundation that and maybe he could, that he's actually reviewed all these other times and things like that to testify what is on it or what isn't, but it's been admitted, but publishing it to this witness and talking about the contents are two different things.
Well, I'm allowed whatever, okay.
You notice a vehicle exit just 1, 2, 3 spots down.
No, I was looking at the ground because I was waiting on the question.
That's okay. I appreciate you being honest. You notice the 2, 3 cars to the right of this vehicle here, a small SUV.
I didn't see a lot of vehicles out.
Actually, before we get there, you notice this gentleman here just walking on his phone or something like that?
I can see the gentleman walk on the phone or something.
You notice the vehicle that's exiting there, just 3 spots away from this small SUV here that we've been talking about.
Yes.
And it is 140.
04.
04. 45 seconds, will you pay attention to individuals walking around this small SUV that we've been talking about?
Thank you.
I will.
Yes.
And again, that individual there walks right by the driver's side of the vehicle we're talking about, correct?
Appears to be yes.
Okay. It doesn't appear that he stops at all or looks in the vehicle?
No.
Okay. No hesitation, it appears on the
It
video.
appears to walk by the vehicle.
Okay. If you maintain your focus to the vehicle that we're talking about.
Okay.
You notice the individual walking in that direction,
Yes.
and you'd agree they go right by the driver's side of the vehicle, the small SUV that we're talking about, and they get right into their vehicle, correct?
They walked to the vehicle and got into the driver's side.
It doesn't appear that they hesitate or look or stop around this small SUV,
They walked directly to the vehicle.
and they're sitting there for some seconds, right? Before they exit. It's not immediate.
I could go back and look at the time again. I wasn't looking at the time. I was looking at the person getting into the vehicle.
Right. At 1:52:38, that vehicle is getting out of the spot and leaving, right? The spot that is directly next to the small SUV we're talking about.
Yes.
Let's stop it. I think that's enough. Right now, I just want you to make note of the time. 1:52:57 p.m., June the 18th, 2014. You'd agree that since 12:41, where the individual seen opening this driver door, right, in that hour and 20 plus minutes, there's a number of individuals that either walk right by that vehicle, the driver's side, or are actually stopping to get in or out of their vehicle right next to this small SUV.
Yes, I don't know the number. I didn't count it.
And I didn't have you look at everything in that hour and 31 minutes, but you would agree that that is that's a snapshot of a number of folks that are going in very close proximity to this small SUV, correct?
We'll look through the one by, again, I don't know the number because you didn't have me count them when they were going through it, so I can't give you a precise number on it.
That's okay. I'm not asking for one.
Okay.
If we can go to the middle one. And now we're back to the middle perspective, the middle camera of the treehouse parking lot. And this is what you were asked questions about on direct. Okay? And so just to kind of reorient yourself, this is the same small SUV that we've been talking about. This is the four-door sedan that pulls up. This is the individual here that is it playing? No. Please play it. Please play it. Opening the door, correct? This camera angle still shows the head above the door frame, correct?
Mm-hmm.
This camera angle shows that he's still not all the way in there in the car.
It shows the arm going in and also leaning down.
At least not. All right. And you had testified about this, but I want to ask you some questions.
Okay.
This individual here that you saw exit or close the driver door of the small SUV,
Mr. Harris.
okay. He's stopping at 12:42:31.
Okay.
And you had testified about an individual that was walking past towards the direction of his vehicle, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Just to kind of reorient yourself, because I know that we're switching angles.
Sure.
All right, and now we're playing. You'd agree that he stopped, correct?
Yes.
It appears as he's looking down.
You can't tell what he's doing with the pixelation on the camera.
Okay. What do you get for? Well, you would agree, though, that he doesn't turn around to look at anyone or his vehicle in this area.
Again, I can't say. It looks like he's holding something in his hand with his left hand, and he goes up with his right hand
Okay.
to it.
Is your testimony, though, that you can't tell if he is looking down at what appeared to be his phone? Is what you testified to on direct?
Yeah, I can't really tell what he's doing. I mean, from the pixelation of it, he could be looking at his phone. He could be looking at the ground. I mean, I don't know where his eyes are focused at. It's not.
I see what you're saying. Okay. At one point, he's got one arm out, and then two arms out.
He's holding. It looks like he's holding something in his left hand, and the right hand comes up.
Okay. But he never turns around, correct?
It appears that he doesn't know.
You don't know if he's looking at his phone or if he's looking at the ground, but you would agree, though, that it appears that he's looking in this direction.
From that, I can't say for sure. I mean, it's the arm's right here, so yeah. I wish there was a camera right there. I could tell you exactly what it was.
Best
But he doesn't look. He didn't turn around.
He doesn't.
And look.
And best you can tell, you don't know if it's the phone or the ground that he's looking at. Okay, fair enough. Just a second. Question about from Mr. Jeff Parton or your team with corporate security. Do you know if these documents were provided to you by you yourself or Jeff Parton or a member of your corporate security team to Howard County Police?
Not on this group, so I'm not on an email.
You're not in the security team?
No, I'm not on an email. That's
You agree Jeff Parton is with your same security team, correct?
that is correct, yes.
You vouched for the surveillance video pools that were put on the disc and provided to detectives because you knew that they came from your security team, correct?
Yeah, that would be correct.
And if these came from Jeff Parton, as a result of a court order or request from law enforcement, you've got no reason to question the validity or the authenticity of these documents.
I haven't finished looking at it, but no. Appear to be from Jeff.
It appeared to be from
Jeff giving complaints. I don't know. I don't recall seeing them.
Okay. Well, you testified about the authenticity of the videos that that show Leanna Harris, correct?
Correct.
And you agree that this document here confirms the receipt of that video that your team provided.
Yes, for Leanna Harris, yes.
Okay. And so these documents were provided to law enforcement along with the videos that were identified and admitted already. You have no reason to question the validity or authenticity.
No, I don't.
Judge, I'm going to move D45 at this time.
May I apply here briefly, Judge? Does Jeff Parton supervise other security teams other than your own?
No, he does not.
Okay. Now, does your group deal with emails and things of that nature?
No, we do not.
Do you have any clue about pulling emails or getting email records or anything like that, or computer records as far as searches or things of that nature?
No.
So these would be absolutely nothing to you.
No.
You couldn't vouch for their authenticity, who pulled them. You didn't supervise these people. You have absolutely zero to do with these, right?
The only thing that we pulled was video and access reports.
Phone history is somebody different, right?
Correct.
Email is somebody different, right?
Correct.
You have zero to do with this, right?
That is correct.
Objection, no foundation.
Judge, this is the state's evidence that was provided to us with a business record certification, with the understanding and with the notice provided to the defense that no witness would be called to lay a foundation. Now the state wants to object because I'm trying to admit this piece of evidence that doesn't require a witness to lay a foundation because this witness can't provide it. It's the state's evidence with the business record certification that they have.
And we do, and we tend to introduce it, we intend to, for the people who can talk about it, the people who've actually looked at it, not people who have nothing to do with it. This is not the proper witness to have review these records. He's never seen them. He has nothing to do with email history, phone history, anything like that, Judge. I will bring it in and the next, after this witness, and I'll admit it through the proper business record certification at the time. But this is not the right witness to go into it with.
Your Honor, if they have a business record certification, then the authenticity is satisfied no matter what witness is on the witness stand.
Judge, how does that qualify him to talk about it if he doesn't know what the heck it is?
Well, he can answer.
Okay.
Don't allow whatever objection.
Okay.
The witness can respond in whatever manner the witness is not comfortable with, depending upon the question.
Thank you. Mr. Sanders, I'm going to hand you what's now been entered into evidence as Defendant's 45. This is an email, correct?
That is an email.
From Jeff Party, who you've already talked about is maybe a superior.
He's my boss.
He's a good boss.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. And Paul Kaplan, is that corporate legal counsel for Home Depot?
He is legal counsel.
You're familiar with him?
Vaguely, yeah.
You'd agree with me. And David Steele, are they with corporate security as well?
David Steele, I believe he's in legal as well. I'm not sure.
Okay. Michael Merritt,
He is the senior director of corporate security.
all right. You know who he is?
Without a doubt.
Okay. Very familiar with his work.
Yes.
All right. It's fair to say, in your roles as corporate security, you take your job and responsibility very seriously, correct?
Yes.
You have to respond to emergency situations, correct?
Yes.
Data breaches?
No.
No?
I'm not in IT security.
Okay. Security, though, in general, they have to respond to dire circumstances at times, correct?
Which group are we referring to? IT security or corporate security?
Okay. What about corporate security? Are there emergency situations where you would, or your team would have to respond and do a thorough job?
Yes.
Looking back at this email, corporate security was provided a list of keyword terms to search through Mr. Harris's email, browser history, computers, correct? Could you tell the members of the jury some of those keyword terms that Home Depot was asked, that corporate security was asked to investigate?
Would you let me finish reading?
Absolutely.
And Judge, I do have an objection now at this point. He's already said he's not in IT security. So again, asking this witness about this question, having not reviewed any of this and not knowing what the context of any of the contents are, it's not the proper witness, it's not a proper foundation.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
May I respond, Judge?
Well, I waited and you didn't.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll say something.
Okay, thank you. He did not identify this document as coming from IT security. He identified the individuals as Jeff Hartman, who's the head of corporate security, Paul Kaplan, who's legal counsel. He did not recognize David Steele. He believed that he was still with the legal department, but Michael Merritt, very familiar, knows him very well.
Actually, you're incorrect. I did not notify Jeff Parton as the head of corporate security. He is not the head of corporate corporate security. I said he was my boss.
He's your boss, I'm sorry.
Yes.
What is his role in corporate security?
Except Barton,
Yes, sir.
business continuity and emergency preparedness.
No one on that email has been identified as with IT security. I believe the state may have misheard the testimony.
That's the statement of judgment.
Permission to publish to the jury?
If it didn't
I'm going to
happen,
object with him publishing it without anybody explaining what it is, Judge.
That's the statement of judgment.
Am I not permitted to ask this witness any questions regarding this piece of evidence?
I say the last objection, ask the next question. I can't anticipate what you might ask.
Showing you an email.
Can I see which email that is? Judge, I'll wait for the question to be asked.
This is an email contained within Defense Exhibit 45 that's already been admitted into evidence. This is an email from Jeff Parton, who you've identified as Senior Manager, Emergency Preparedness and Business Continuity, correct?
That's correct.
He's your boss.
Yes.
This email is to a Philip Stoddard with Cobb County Police Department, correct?
Yes, I was looking down. Yes.
Okay. And what he's forwarding is work and investigations completed by Home Depot Corporate Security, correct?
I don't believe this was completed by corporate security. I can go into detail why.
Okay, please.
It talks about the user browser history. We don't do that.
Why is Mr. Parton involved?
I guess he was the facilitator for getting the information from business units. I don't know. I'm not Jeff Parton, so I can't answer that. I wasn't copied on this email. This is the first seeing this email.
Who would be the appropriate witness from Home Depot to ask these questions about regarding this piece of evidence that's already been admitted?
Those are the people that were copied on the email, or on the email themselves. Again, I don't know.
So, Mr. Parton?
Yeah, I won't. Yes, Jeff is on the email.
Okay. In working closely with Mr. Parton in this case, were you made aware about their investigation into Mr. Harris's computers and browser history and basically looking at anything that they could as far as his involvement at Home Depot?
No, because I had my hands full pulling video and also pulling access reports, which is what we do from my team. That's the only portion that I had in it.
And to circle back on this last point, with your hands full pulling these videos, okay, were you ever shown the portions of the videos that we went through today on cross-examination?
I don't recall. I looked through when we were doing pulling videos over for the flash drives. Yeah, I went through to verify the authenticity of them, that they were actually Home Depot video, and there wasn't something added into it.
But what you went through on direct examination, that was shown to you before you testified today, correct?
Which portion?
The portions of the videos from the parking lot middle camera that you talked about with Mr. Bourne.
We looked at a lot of the videos. Again, I had to pull them over to the flash drive and verify the authenticity. So I may have, yes, I've seen videos.
And they didn't show you any of the portions of the video from the left camera, did they?
I don't recall.
Right.
started, we talked about how these videos, they were up to the investigators, and we would end up going through some of those later with them, correct?
Correct.
Okay. As far as the records that you guys turn over, as far as your stuff, do you sometimes get subpoenas from civil attorneys or defense attorneys and things like that for records?
Generally, they don't come through my team. They're handed down, and we're asked to ascertain the information, and then we hand it over.
So they come in, and if they request it, you guys comply?
From the civil?
Yeah, civil, criminal, if you get a legal subpoena from anyone, you're going to comply with it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the cameras outside, those don't zoom in and out, right? It's stationary. I forgot to ask that, and I'm sorry.
There's the particular cameras that I've seen today. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Those are static cameras. They do not move. They're not PTZ camera, which I explained earlier. Pan tilt zoom. They're a static camera, fixed camera.
And I know that the videos are pixelated and things like that. Did you guys do any type of enhancements or anything to try to bring it in closer or anything like that?
No, we don't have that technology.
Okay. And when we were talking, you saw the video of him walking and stopping. When we were looking at the video earlier, you agreed that it was possible he had turned his head and was looking back during portions of that.
Yeah, there's a possibility of that, but again, I can't say for sure.
And you haven't seen any of the enhanced pictures or videos or anything like that?
No.
You were asked some questions about the defendant, if he ever got in the car and sat in the car, things like that, when he's up there at lunch. Was he all the way within the frame of the car between the door and the opening?
It appears that he leans down again, like I said to you.
I'm not asking whether he leans down or anything, but was he there in between, in the frame of the car, though? Was that leaning down or not?
Yeah, part of his body was in the car.
Mm-hmm.
The arm.
And then his body is between the door and the car?
Yes.
Within the frame of the car?
Yes.
And as far as when he came up, looking at the video from what you saw, you said, did he have anything obstructing his view into the car? Did you see anything, like in between him and the car?
There's nothing that appears to be in front blocking the vehicle.
I know the defense counsel asked a lot of questions about people that had walked behind the car, coming from behind and walking by it. Do you know anything about the tint on this car as the back opposed to the front?
I can't tell you the make of the car, to be honest with you.
Okay. So you basically don't know jack about that, right?
I'm sorry.
All right. Now these people that were walking by later in the day, was this their car? Did this appear to be their car? Did they ever go inside the car? The other individuals, not Mr. Harris.
No.
Okay. Did any of them go and look in the car? Did you see any of them do that?
Doing that, it looked like they kept walking.
Did you see anybody, or have you ever seen any video of anybody else other than the defendant at lunch opening the door?
No.
Did you ever see anybody else leaning down into the car?
No.
Did you ever see anybody else putting anything in the car?
No.
And when you watched, I know Mr. Rodriguez had asked about some times and things like that. It was over 30 seconds from when he parked that car to the time he actually shut the door and walked away from it that morning, correct? Okay, I'll rephrase it. How much time? Was it more or less than 30 seconds from the time he parked that car till he closed the door and walked away?
I can't give you a specific. I think it was a little more than 30 seconds.
I think that's all I have, Judge.
Mr. Sanders, when you raised your hand today, I swore to tell the truth. Your review of that video, your testimony was that he's not all the way in there. He's not all the way in that car.
That was correct. Yeah, I said it, and to go again, I said that he looks like his arm is in the vehicle. It's the part.
Mr. Bourne asked you about other people and whether they got in the car. Mr. Harris did not get in that car.
When he left for the day, I'm not being funny, I'm just answering the question.
Fair enough. At lunch,
No.
when we're talking about people walking by his car, and Mr. Bourne asked about those folks, they didn't get into his car.
No, sir.
At lunch, Mr. Harris didn't get into his car.
It appears to be Mr. Harris's arm going in from what I've seen.
And after raising your right hand, that's what you testified to.
Yes.
Nothing for the judge.
You're excused. Let's take our afternoon break. Approximately 10 minutes, but now approximately that is.
That's all right, Ms. Drury, please.
Actually, y'all need 15 minutes. I'll give you 15 minutes. Close your books, open minds, close mouths. Very good. And a recess. 25 after, approximately. We need about that much time. Everybody have a good break.